Hello there, this is Nige. Welcome to my channel, Pure Coys. I am just sorting the sound out. Should have done that before I started. High professional of me. But welcome to my channel, Pure Coys. I am going to be talking all things Tottenham over the coming weeks and months. Hopefully you will join me. So please, as you come in, please do the honourable thing. Like, subscribe. And if you want to click the bell thing as well, then that would be wonderful. But honestly, don't feel you have to. I've been going through Twitter today. Not too much is going on in the transfer world as far as Spurs goes, but I find a few stories that we could talk about, and let's get on with it. So the first one I have is this one, which I just find really interesting, and this is a list of our strikers. I'm pretty certain you can see that. So there we have it: Kulusevski, Solomon, Johnson, Hill, Richarlison, Veliz, Dane Scarlett, Werner. Obviously, Sonny's on there as well, but he's not on there. But that is a list of strikers that would absolutely terrify nobody. Let's be honest. So, what do we think is going to happen with our strike force this season? Are we going to be bringing players in, or are we going to be going with what we have? It's a really interesting one for me because I look at the strikers, I look at our strikers and the strike force and the wingers that we have, and I'm thinking, okay, how many of them realistically are not good enough to take us forward, to move the needle? You know, some of these players are good players, of course they are, but are they going to move the needle? Are they going to take us from a fifth place team to a fourth place team, to a third place team, to a second place team, and God forbid, to winning something? And for me, they don't. So Kulu, for me, first 6 months he was here, fantastic. The last 2 years has been pretty poor, to be honest. And I'll be the first to admit, I hold my hands up. I am a flip-flop because the first 6 months he was here, I was one of those fans who said, man, this guy reminds me of Chrissy Waddle. And 2 years later, I am like, that is an insult to Chrissy Waddle because Chrissy Waddle was an amazing footballer and a consistently amazing footballer. Kulu is good in patches, and he's been pretty average now for 2 years. So what do we do with him? Do we keep? Do we sell? For me, if we got a good offer in, I'd be looking to get rid of him. But this is just my opinion, and you guys will probably think differently. A lot of you will agree. Some of you will say, no, he's class, let's keep him. So let me know in the comments what you think. For me, if we had got a good offer in for Kulu, I would take it. As for Solomon, haven't seen enough of him. But let's be honest, he couldn't get in the Fulham team. So for me, he's an okay squad player. But do we want okay squad players? I'm at the stage now where I've been a Spurs fan for 40 plus years and I want to see some trophies. You know, when I first started supporting Spurs, we won things. You know, FA Cups, League Cups, UEFA Cups. We won trophies. We got to finals. Now, you know, we get to the odd final, but they're few and far between. Anyway, I'm digressing. So yeah, the attackers for me, they're just not good enough. I'll be honest with you, and this will a lot of people will agree, and a lot of people will disagree. For me, the only one of those I would happily keep is Johnson. Apart from Sonny, of course, is Johnson. I actually think he did all right last season. Now, listen, he didn't, you know, set the world alight, but he scored some goals. He got some assists. Yes, he missed some chances, but you know what? He got in a position to miss the chances. And as long as he keeps getting in those positions, then next season I feel he will score more. And I think if we have a better striker up front, I think you will see Johnson get 12 plus assists next season in the league. 12 plus assists if we got a good striker in. And that's not Richarlison, by the way. So yeah, I thought that was interesting looking at the attackers that we have. And I looked at them and I thought, wow, we really are pretty poor in the attack in front. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think we're okay in the forward line? Do you think we need major improvement? Do you think we need a few tweaks here and now? I personally think we need major improvement. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. The next one that I saw was this one. And basically, it says that signing both Desiree Doué and Eze this summer is a priority for Tottenham. Both players are key targets and a very important conversation to take in place with Doué in the last 24 hours. Personally, I'm really concerned that we might end up with none of them. I'm hearing that Eze now is attracting Manchester City. They're prepared to pay the £60 million buyout. So, listen, if he's got a choice between City and Spurs, I think there's a 95% chance he goes to City. I still think there's a 5% chance we might get him. It's very slim. And that 5% would be the fact that we're a London team and he may not want to leave London. But listen, not every player has gone to City and hit the ground running and done fantastic, so who's to say? Maybe he still would come to Spurs, but I really think if Spurs want him, they need to act. They need to act now. They need to have the offer down. They need to get people flying out there to Germany, getting his contract signed. And, I don't know whether they can do it when he's away, but they need to get it signed, sealed, and delivered ASAP and not mess around because other clubs are sniffing. And my fear is Spurs will be caught napping as usual. And as for Desiree Doué, don't know too much about him. I saw his highlights reel. Of course, he looks very talented and exciting, but he is young. So does that mean Spurs will go for him? There's a lot of top European clubs after him as well. So it'll be interesting. Listen, I'm not against signing either of them. I'd love Eze, and this Doué looks exciting. But is he going to move that needle? That needle that we keep saying, is he going to push that dial and take us to the next level? Maybe, but I don't think straight away. So if we're prepared to wait a couple of years, then great. I'm all up for signing these young players. But I think the problem is we are getting mixed messages from the manager. And, the manager's telling us he wants to win the league next year. Yet we're bringing in young, talented players that probably aren't going to be up for maybe a couple of years. You've got to get up to Premier League standard. I mean, this guy may come in and set the world alight, but I'd be surprised. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I wouldn't be averse to either. If I had the choice, I would choose Eze. Proven would be my choice. And I've wanted Eze for a couple of years now. So yeah, that would be my choice there. The next one, which I thought was funny, I had to laugh, is this. It's got to be tongue-in-cheek, isn't it? I mean, it is Twitter. Who would you rather start at right wing? It's a joke, isn't it? Is it a joke? I mean, if Neto was fit, he would start every single week. If Neto was fit and Tottenham signed him, wow. He would start every week. Kulu's not fit enough to tie his shoelaces. He's not in the same class. Neto is different quality, but are Spurs going to sign him? Apparently, Wolves want £60 million plus. Spurs are willing to pay around 45, so I'm reading. So, we're quite a way off the asking price. And to be honest, I kind of agree with Spurs in this sense. He's a player that, yes, is a fantastic player, but he's always injured, and they are long injuries as well. It's not like he's out for a couple of weeks here and now. When he gets injured, which is every season, he is out for 12 weeks plus. So it's a risk. But would I take Neto? Hell yeah, I take Neto. He's quality and he's a good looking lad as well. By the time we have some good looking boys in the side. Anyway, as for good looking boys, this is the last one I come to. And is this man here? Let's get him in full screen. Ode Matters. And I saw this on Twitter and I thought, well, this would be interesting, an interesting debate. And it basically says, who do you think we should sell from the first team so we can improve the rest? I'll rephrase that. Who do you think we should sell from the first 11 so we can improve the team? I got there eventually. And I think Madison was put on there to maybe spark a bit of debate, maybe to get some clickbait, maybe. But yes, I certainly wouldn't be selling Madison. He, for me, is going to have a really big season this year for Spurs. Let's take him off the screen. Let's give him a little bit, but I need to see myself on there as well. Yeah, who would I sell from the first 11 to improve it? I mean, there's a few, to be fair. I've mentioned one already, Kulu. I'd let him go if we got a good offer. I would be prepared to let Richarlison go. I would be prepared to let Basuma go. I mean, we're talking first 11. So obviously players like Emerson Royale, Reguilon, Højbjerg, Hill, Lo Celso, those 5 will be hopefully leaving anyway, right? So I'm not including them as first 11 players. For me, I would be looking at if we could improve on them, Richarlison, Kulu, and Basuma. All good players, but all terribly, terribly inconsistent. Richarlison, for as well as he's done, still can't trap a ball. He's just terrible at control. He can't hold the ball up too well. But he did do well goal scoring wise last season. So listen, I'm not adverse to keeping him either. But he wouldn't be my first choice striker. I would be happy to buy another striker and have Richarlison battling it out for the striker role. But if we got a good offer, I'd be happy to see him leave. But if he does leave, I do feel we need to buy 2 strikers. It's no good letting Richarlison go and just buying an Ivan Toney, for instance, because it only takes one injury or, a silly bet, and suddenly we're without a striker again for a little while. So let's see what happens now. Basuma, for me, started the season last year brilliantly, and it's the Basuma we used to see at Brighton. And I thought, at last, he's here. But he is so inconsistent. He is a liability, gets sent off too much for me. He doesn't concentrate enough. Got nothing against it. I think he's a good player. I think on his day, he is fantastic. But he doesn't concentrate enough for me. It lacks concentration. You will find during a game, he will be having an all right game, and suddenly a ball will be played to him. And his first touch would be terrible, and he'll lose the ball, and more often than not, a chance will come from it. And so, again, for me, if we got a good offer for Basuma, I wouldn't be against him leaving. At the same time, I'm happy for him to stay, but I want to see these performances pick up. I don't think he can afford to have another season like last season. And as for Kulu for me, it's just the most frustrating player at Spurs. Yes, he works hard, but I want to see the Kulu we had in the first 5 or 6 months when he got the ball and he beat players for fun. He'd drop the shoulder. He would let the ball run through his legs and he'd be off. And players just wouldn't have a clue what he's doing. He'd cut in with his left foot, curl one into the top corner, or put a ball in the box. He stopped doing that. And I don't know whether he's just lacking confidence or whether Ange's system's not suiting him or whether he just isn't as good as what I thought he was. I think that's probably more likely the case. So if we got a good offer in for Kulu, again, I would happily accept it. But again, I'm not saying he has to leave. But for me, he's not a first choice starter next season. I think we need a better right winger. And I would be going all out to buy a Neto type of player. And then using Johnson off the bench, which I think is his best position. Again, I said I'm happy with Johnson. I am happy with him, but I think he looked a lot more dangerous coming off the bench last 25 minutes and using his pace to attack tiring defenders. But again, we will see. But let me know in the comments what you think. Yeah, the players I'm happy with. I'll go through the players I'm happy to keep. Vicario, obviously the whole defence I'm happy with. I do think we need a number 6 to maybe protect them a little bit better. But midfield-wise, Sar's still a good young player. He's going to get better. I like Bentancur. I've always been a Bentancur fan. Yes, he hasn't come back the way I would have liked, but these are serious injuries, and I'm hoping next season he's going to come back stronger. He's having a really good tournament for Uruguay. So hopefully he comes back next season stronger and better than ever. And yes, I'm happy. I'm happy with Bentancur. I'm happy with Madison. I'm happy with Sonny. Hopefully he can stay out more on the left now this season. But I want to see improvement. I need to see at least 2 attacking players come in, whether that be a winger and a striker or 2 wingers and a striker. That would be fantastic. And number 6, cover at right and left back, and maybe another left-sided centre half. And I think then we are pretty set. Obviously, I'm thinking that we've already bought Eze in this situation. So yeah, if we're going through the players that we need, 2 wingers, a striker, Eze, a 6, cover at left and right back, another centre half, only 7 more players, and we'll be sorted. Simple. But yeah, it's not all going to be done in this window. But if we could get 3 or 4 top quality players that drop straight into that first team for next season, as well as the young talent that we've bought, then I'm going to be really happy and really optimistic. And if we don't, I'm going to be super negative, and I'm probably not going to get many followers. But it is what it is. I tell the truth. I tell my truth of how I feel my club is going and how I feel we can do better. But it's pre-season. The window's only just opened. We've already bought in Archie Gray, good young player. So we will see what the rest of the window brings. This is me, Nigel Watson. This is Pure Coys. Thank you for joining me. On your way out, please like and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. And on my next video, I'm going to be talking about the trophies. There's been a lot of talk of trophies and what we've won and what we haven't won. And whereas I'm not a Levy in, I'm not a Levy out. I'm very much in the middle. I think Levy's done some fantastic things for this club. I think he's done some awful things for this club. So I'm neither in or out. I'm very much in the middle. But I do find it frustrating sometimes when a lot of fans blame Levy for the lack of success, because I do think, and I will go through all the finals that we've been in before Levy